They say hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. But what happens when that fury spirals into a plot so twisted it ends in murder? Today, we're diving into a case that started with a text message and ended with a life sentence, a story of love, betrayal, and a crime that shocked a quiet suburban community. This is the story of Mark and Donna. From the outside, they had it all: a beautiful home, to wonderful kids, and a marriage that seemed picture perfect. They were the couple everyone looked up to, the ones who hosted neighborhood barbecues and always had a smile on their faces. But behind closed doors, a different story was unfolding. Mark, a successful businessman, was leading a double life. For months, he'd been carrying on an affair with a younger colleague named Heather. He showered her with gifts, took her on lavish trips, and promised her a future together, all while playing the part of the devoted husband at home. Donna, however, was no fool. She'd noticed the late nights at the office, the secret phone calls, the growing distance between them. A woman's intuition is a powerful thing, and Donna's was screaming that something was wrong. Her suspicions were confirmed one evening when she saw a message flash across Mark's phone as he slept. It was from Heather, a simple "I miss you" with a heart emoji. In that moment, Donna's world shattered. The life she had so carefully built crumbled around her. Her initial reaction was a storm of grief and rage. She confronted Mark, who, after a series of denials, finally confessed. He begged for forgiveness, promising to end the affair and recommit to their family. For the sake of their children, Donna agreed to try. They went to counseling, had long, tearful conversations, and for a while, it seemed like they might actually pull through. Mark ended things with Heather, and for a few months, a fragile peace settled over their home. But the seeds of resentment had been planted, and they were taking root in Donna's heart. Every time Mark was late, every time his phone buzzed, the paranoia returned. She couldn't shake the image of him with another woman. The trust was gone, replaced by a constant, gnawing suspicion. She started checking his phone, his emails, his credit card statements, searching for any sign that the affair had been rekindled. She didn't find one, but the obsession consumed her. This is where the story takes a darker turn. Donna's grief slowly morphed into a cold, calculated desire for revenge. It wasn't enough that Mark had ended the affair. She wanted him to pay for the humiliation and pain he had caused. More than that, she began to place all the blame on Heather. In her mind, Heather wasn't just the other woman. She was a predator who had deliberately targeted her husband and tried to destroy her family. This singular focus on Heather became an all-consuming obsession. Donna began to stalk Heather online. She learned her address, her work schedule, her daily routine. She would drive by her apartment, picturing the life Mark had lived there, away from her. The anger festered, growing more intense with each passing day. She started fantasizing about confronting Heather, about making her feel the same pain she had felt. One night, fueled by a toxic mix of alcohol and rage, Donna decided to act. She drove to Heather's apartment building, not with a clear plan, but with a heart full of venom. She waited in her car for hours, watching the lights in Heather's window, her mind racing. When she saw Heather leave to walk her dog, Donna got out of her car. What happened next was a blur of shouting and chaos. Donna confronted Heather in the dimly lit parking lot. The argument quickly escalated. Neighbors later reported hearing screams, but by the time anyone looked outside, the parking lot was empty and quiet. The next morning, Heather was reported missing when she didn't show up for work. Police launched an investigation, and suspicion immediately fell on Mark. His affair with Heather was an open secret at their workplace, making him the prime suspect. He had a motive, and his alibi for the night of the disappearance, that he was home with his wife, seemed convenient. Mark was brought in for questioning. He was terrified, not just of being a suspect, but of the reality that something terrible had happened to Heather. He maintained his innocence, telling police he had ended the affair months ago and had no idea where she was. He told them he was home with Donna all night. When investigators went to speak with Donna, they expected her to corroborate his alibi, and she did. She calmly told them that Mark had been with her, that they had watched a movie and gone to bed early. She was the perfect, supportive wife. Her performance was so convincing that for a moment, the police were stumped. But experienced detectives know that things are rarely as they seem. They decided to dig deeper into Donna, they pulled security footage from the area around Heather's apartment, and there it was. A car matching Donna's model and color was seen entering the parking lot a few hours before Heather disappeared and leaving shortly after the time of the reported screams. It was the break they needed. Armed with this new evidence, they brought Donna back in for questioning. This time, her composure cracked. As they presented her with the footage, with the timeline, with the sheer impossibility of her story, she broke down. The carefully constructed wall of lies came tumbling down, and the horrifying truth came out in a flood of tears and confessions. She admitted to confronting Heather. She said the argument got physical. In a fit of uncontrollable rage, she had pushed Heather, who fell and hit her head on the concrete curb. The moment it happened, Donna said, she panicked. She knew she had gone too far. Instead of calling for help, she made a fateful decision. She put Heather's body in the trunk of her car and drove to a remote, wooded area miles away. The confession was chilling. It painted a picture not of a calculated killer, but of a scorned woman whose anger had boiled over with catastrophic consequences. The cheating scandal had become a murder case. Donna led the police to the shallow grave where she had buried Heather. The discovery sent shockwaves through the community. The seemingly perfect wife and mother was a killer. Mark was cleared of all suspicion, but his life was irrevocably destroyed. He had lost his wife to prison, his lover was dead, and he had to live with the knowledge that his infidelity had set this tragic chain of events in motion. He was left to raise his 2 children alone, forever shadowed by the scandal. Donna was charged with murder. Her defense team argued for a lesser charge of manslaughter, claiming it was not a premeditated act, but a crime of passion. They portrayed her as a victim, driven to a moment of madness by her husband's betrayal. The prosecution, however, painted a different picture. They pointed to the online stalking, the waiting in the car, the lies to the police. They argued that while the final act may have been impulsive, the rage and obsession that led to it were a slow burn, a calculated path toward violence. In the end, the jury sided with the prosecution. They found Donna guilty of second-degree murder. The judge sentenced her to 25 years to life in prison. In her sentencing, the judge spoke of the 2 lives that were destroyed that night, Heather's, which was tragically cut short, and Donna's, which would now be spent behind bars. And then there were the other lives, the children who would grow up without a mother, and a husband who would carry the weight of his actions forever. This case serves as a dark and powerful reminder of how betrayal and rage can curdle into something far more dangerous. It's a story with no winners, only victims of a tragedy born from a broken promise. Thank you for watching. If you found this story compelling, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into fascinating cases. We'll see you in the next one.